Hey everybody, James the D guy, also known as the D Duo. My duo is at her GED class right now, getting her GED Plus for her high school diploma. So I figured I'd have a little time to go over a few things with you. Most people ask me through a message on Facebook or even comments how to fix Honda idle problems. I have one video and that just goes into like one thing out of the whole things that it could be. So I'm going to do this video for you guys so that you guys can know what else could cause your Honda idle issues, so you don't have to hire an expensive mechanic. You could do it yourself, or, I mean, if you're local, you could come to me and I would do it right here in this garage. It's not a big deal. But a lot of you that ask the question are not local. Y'all are in different states and you guys just kind of want to know the answers, so I figured I'd do a little video for you. Write this down or replay the video as much as possible. Share the hell out of it. It's up to you. First thing you're going to want to check is obviously vacuum lines. And on a D-Series, there's only a few vacuum lines. And I'll go through those vacuum lines for you. For the JDM motors such as mine, there are a few missing because they don't do the emission-friendly thing because they're from Japan. And they don't have emissions there. So these are the vacuum line problems that it could be, or other related issues that run through the idle control. Here they are. Okay everybody, so today I'm going to show you where the TPS is located. Here's your throttle body for the newbies that don't know what the throttle body is. This valve inside the throttle body, by moving this, it will open a valve flapper inside, allowing more air to come in. Well, when it does that, this is the throttle position sensor back here on the back side of the throttle body. The camera is facing the front of the engine, so when you look, it'll be closest to the firewall. It's a black sensor with a 3-prong connector, green and white, black and red, and yellow and white wire coming off of it. You'll want to make sure that connector is clean. Make sure there's no contaminants in there. Also check the throttle position sensor itself. This sensor has 2 screws. You can adjust these with a voltmeter. You can go to go to Hondata or hondatech.com or something, and they'll show you the specs for this, or just Google how to adjust throttle position sensor on a 95 Civic or whatever year you have. This is the air idle control valve. This right here regulates all of your air idling issues. When you turn your headlights on, it'll bump the idle up a little bit to compensate, so the alternator has a little bit more charging power. This is a lot of problems with Hondas because antifreeze flows through that. Also, you have the MAP sensor. It stands for manifold absolute pressure. This sensor right here, 2 screws, you can inspect it, see if it's dirty. Fortunately, no issues on my car with these problems. A few other places to look are right over here. We have the, I'm going to set this bulb down for a second. Have the vacuum line running to the brake booster. You'll want to make sure that's nice and tight. This one actually isn't really tight for some strange reason. I just now noticed that. But it isn't leaking any air because I don't have a funky idle or anything. And my gas mileage is 34 miles to the gallon, so that's not my issue. I don't have any. Also, this one here is the PCV, pollution control valve. This runs to a valve right underneath this fuel rail that recycles fuel vapors so that it can get better miles per gallon. Also, this is the vacuum line to the fuel pressure regulator, the FPR for some of you. Make sure those vacuum lines are good. And on the US versions, the non-JDM motors, there'll be a valve sitting right here with a vacuum line running off that runs to a canister sitting over by the fuel. Okay, so after you have done all that and your idle is still going up and down and you cannot figure it out, don't forget to check the throttle body gasket. That was also a big mistake I said I'd forgot to mention. That gasket's very important, and when I've seen them fail, something so tiny can make them idle funny. Also on the bottom of that, there's the Fit V. I also have a video on that if you really need to know about it, how to clean it and everything. I will get videos how to clean the air idle control valve stay tuned for that. But if that all doesn't, no matter what, it doesn't change the idle, you're going to want to do the intake gasket. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 millimeter bolts. It's best to use a wrench on the top ones. There's one in the back on the bottom. I do not recommend this for people that want to be all professional, but I leave the bottom one out because of how much of a pain in the butt it is to get to. Never once had an issue. I ran it boosted, not this motor, but my other D-Series engine in my other videos. Ran it boosted, never had an issue of leaking, never once had any problems. Make sure you use a little bit of gasket sealer though, just to be on the safe side, and you should be perfectly fine. But yep, take those bolts off. And other people always ask, how are we supposed to get the old gasket off if it's all crusty and onto the motor? Well, they make a wire wheel for a screw gun. You can use that. It works really well. You're going to want to make sure to clean out the intake ports, shove something in there like a rag or something of that sort so that the contaminants don't get in there and the old gasket fly off. If that doesn't work, I use WD-40, let it soak for a little while, come back with a razor blade and scrape it. The pitting that cause from razor blades or whatever you use to remove it, make sure you take 400 grit or 320 and you smooth out the entire surface before you reapply gasket sealer and so on and so forth, because that'll help seal it up even better. Well, that's basically it. Also, a few other things I failed to mention prior to this video. Antifreeze level, very, very important. And most of you are thinking, how does antifreeze affect my air? Very, very easily. You have antifreeze lines running through your air idle control valve and your fast idle thermal valve. When that fluid level is low, it will cause it to rev up real high, especially on cold starts. If you haven't noticed, on some Hondas, it's really high rev. That's also because the coolant temperature sensor is running off of a base map. So it's loaded a preloaded base map onto the computer telling it, okay, it's cold right now, and just run off these settings. Once it warms up, you'll notice the idle drops and everything goes to better. It gets a lot better. You'll get really bad gas mileage if you just go start it up and take off. That's because the engine needs to warm up to get the proper air-fuel ratios given to it by the oxygen sensor. So, very important, check your antifreeze. If you have any idle issues, check your cooling system. It is very important. If you've got blockage up towards the air idle control valve or the thermostat, that could cause so many of your idle problems, and you would have wasted hundreds of dollars on a professional mechanic that'll go through and tell you, well, we did this and we did that, but it ended up being your coolant was low. You waste $500 roughly, and that's just at a cheap shop. Dealerships can go up even higher than that depending on your location and so on. So check your fluids. If it's dark and needs changed, I suggest you go and get a coolant flush. They have really good stuff up at AutoZone. You can go through their additives aisle. You'll see they have coolant flush from, I don't even remember, Peak has some stuff, I think, and there's a few other antifreeze brands out there that have some stuff that help. They step by step on the back tell you how to do it, so you can't really screw it up. If you can't read, I suggest you start to learn. If you can, then follow the directions, no skimping out. Well, I hope this video has helped somebody. Share this video. I have more information I can give you in more in-depth detail. I could probably go through messaging. I figured I'd just make a video. Hope I didn't waste too much of your time. I try to make as many videos as possible this month. I know I've been lacking a little bit, but stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already. For my subscribers, we thank you deeply. You have really helped me and Kelly out financially too. It feels good to give the turbo away. That was just an awesome contest. I'll have many more like it, and maybe next time I can give you a brand new turbo with a wastegate or something. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be a turbo. It could be anything. So thank you to all the subscribers who are watching this, all the people who have participated in my contest, and to the haters, thank you guys too. I know it sucks that you can't be me. I mean, look at how awesome I am. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not fooling myself like I think I am. But, yeah, just work hard and you can get where you want to go in life. So, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope to see lots of likes and shares off this video. And the more likes and shares we get, positive or positive comments, it doesn't matter. Just keep them coming, and I'll make more videos, and they'll get better and better every time. So thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button.